What's up, cows? It's your favorite Vam Cow back at again with another React Andy. This time round, apparently Palworld is doing awesome, and Nintendo fans aren't liking it. I don't see why. I don't see why, Nintendo fans can just stay in their lane and Palworld fans can stay in their lane. But it's also the same thing as, Genshin Impact, players just can't handle the fact that Wuthering Waves is actually the superior game, and they constantly have to trash it and shit talk it whenever they can. So it's kind of like the same thing, except the difference is, well, actually, no, it's the exact same thing, because, well, arguably Palworld is a better game in comparison to modern Pokemon games, because modern Pokemon games are just copy-paste. Ever since Arceus, it's been downhill from there. Is it Arceus? Acreus? Origins? I don't remember. The one where is the very first open world game, where you as the modern human was sent back in time. Anyways, let's just jump into it.
Hey, what's up, guys? Riff here. So this video, I'm going to be talking about the Palworld situation. Over the last 2.5 years, we have seen massive wins, not only for the development team, but also for gamers through Palworld. And also during all...
Now, I think Palworld's like an okay game. I don't know. I played it. I played it to completion on both Xbox and PC until the update where they added the oil rig, and anything beyond that point I did not, but I beat every single boss before then. I do like the fact that it is a sandbox game where you can set your own difficulty, so if you want the game to be outrageously difficult, you can. If you want to be outrageously easy and just chill out and make fun stuff, you can. I really have no interest in pursuing the game ever again. Going back into the game. I think I could play it with friends, though, but I myself would never play it on my own again. Well, I mean, but then again, though, last time I played, again, I don't know, there really just wasn't that much to do, but it was just an open world, open sandbox, and it was alright. It was okay. It could have been better, but it could have also been exactly like the last Pokemon game, and, well, actually not even the last Pokemon, the last 5 Pokemon games, which were just the last 20 Pokemon games, except no cool pixel art and no fun designs. Yes, I want to capture the key Pokemon. What next? I'm going to capture the Magic School Bus Pokemon.
All this, we've seen an elaborate humiliation ritual that Nintendo and Pokemon have been going through, not only watching this game succeed beyond their greatest nightmare expectations.
I don't think anyone even expected this game to succeed as much as it did, too, which is pretty awesome. I'm not even sure how else to word it than that, or what else to say than that. Because I saw this game come out, and I was just like, oh yeah, this looks interesting. But then, I don't know, when I saw people playing it, it didn't even look that interesting. But in spite of the fact that it did not look that interesting, there was a ton of people still playing it anyway. And then it got my interest, and I was just like, you know what? I'm kind of seeing it. Although I'm nice to my pals, I don't treat them like slaves.
But also, their
I love the fact that you can, though.
Legal case against Palworld is completely falling apart. And with the release of Palworld 1.0...
Remember when the Pokemon Company tried to patent the idea of companions in general that could follow around you? And I think that got reversed super duper quickly, or everybody across the world was just like, yeah, whatever judge permitted that, they're a retard. Because they were. Yes, guys, let's patent companions. Everyone has to be single now. Everyone has to be walking around an open world by themselves, except for Pokemon.
So we saw a resurgence of players to nearly 1 million concurrent players. But of course, you go on social media and the shills are crashing out and coping about that, saying it's very unimpressive to have nearly 1 million concurrent players in a game that is 2.5 years old. When it comes to Palworld, it's succeeding beyond any measure anyone could have predicted. Even
the 300,000 in-game is a successful number. No matter the price tag, the game could be even sold for $5, and that's still a successful game. You have that's even if it was sold for $5, that's a 1.5 mil right there.
Weeks out since 1.0's release, still hundreds of thousands of concurrent players, showing that they have retained a great level of hype with
And that's, not, of course, not including the Xbox and PC
this
gamers.
game. And I really want to go through the history, because we haven't talked about main.
Oh, he's got to go over the whole thing? Ooh, going down memory lane? Yes, sir, please. I actually do need a refresh, because the only thing, again, the companion patent is the only thing I remember. Like, I think it's kind of funny that Nintendo wasn't even able to get a patent for Pokeballs. But they were somehow able to get a patent for companions walking behind you.
A lawsuit in quite some time. As most of you are already aware, when this game came out, Palworld received over 2 million concurrent players on Steam, coming out of nowhere and completely shocking people, shocking even the shills, who were so upset.
I want to game it myself because of Palworld. I lost all my respect for the game market, 2 billion players for literally stealing multiple years of community building by Nintendo/Game Freak. Do I even want to reply that? Should I reply that? You know, I am going to reply that. It's not technically stealing. Well, it's not technically stealing. The players chose to go to a different game instead of continuing to play the same game. I mean, like, Nintendo is still getting, I think, like, $10 million sales on, like, the yearly schlop game that they release, where it's just the exact same game, but in a slightly new area. But go off, I guess.
About the success of Palworld and how it was humiliating Pokemon, that Reddit users were making posts talking about how they were thinking of taking their own lives over the situation. In fact, we even saw the clown show evolve to the point where PETA was making posts angry about Palworld, demanding vegan routes and even providing vegan guides to their followers. But of course, the biggest bombshell to happen was the lawsuit that came out right after the release of...
Oh, you know what? I didn't even read the rest of that. My bad. Sorry. Hold on. I'm a little drained today. Me papa, he had a really, really bad nosebleed. It was, like, in the back end area of his nose. And I kind of I had to, like, plug it for him before the doctors actually realized that was the case. Anyway, literally living off someone else's work, and people love it. People love it because it's Pokemon on PC. No. It's Pokemon on PC plus slavery. Listen, everyone wants slavery in current year. No one wants to admit it, but everyone wants it, and it's always fun. I'm just kidding. Listen, slavery in games is fun. All right? There's nothing more fun than being able to either, be nice to creatures and see them be happy, or be terrible, evil, mean to the creatures that we have and see them be in absolute misery. But go off, I guess. The law has nothing to say against Palworld. Yeah, womp womp. Video games are... The video game copyright is quite open. There's a lot of games where you can say they're just copycats of one another, but they don't get... There's nothing. Let's see. People just love that it hurts a big company. They support what's toxic just to prove a point. Okay, man. If that's how you see it, all right. But I believe from a guy that's never played like the last, a guy that has not played a single mainline Pokemon game since the 3DS era. I still think they all look like ass. I still have zero interest in playing them. But okay, people cast onto the hype train just because streamers say the word. No, I mean, streamers kind of like advertise it, and they can say a game is great and everything, but that doesn't mean retention. But of course, though, he may... I'm gonna assume this is like really, this was taken like really long... I don't know. I'm gonna assume this is an old comment, so... You got proved wrong by the test of time, but alright. Yeah. Let's see. Where was I left off on? Everyone knows streamers are the... And everyone knows streamers the elites of this world, so their opinion is sacred? What? I mean, a lot of people defend their favorite streamers, but their opinions aren't sacred. Dude, you remember how many people were dogging on Ludwig when he said, let's up those numbers? You remember you know how many people are like dogging on Kaisenet now because he took a break from streaming to work on a clothing company that failed? What? But okay. Anyways, where were we? A good Pokemon game for PC. Everyone who supports this game just told every other company that trying hard is futile? What? What are you yapping about? Holy rambling. Hard work in town, out in the window, just copy someone else's work and steal their fan base. That's the world we live in. You know what would also help is if Nintendo put their games onto PC in any form, but they choose not to. So oh well, they're missing out on sales. That's a them issue. Palworld sold better than Red Dead Redemption 2, which is such a beautiful game made by talented, hardworking people, but it doesn't matter. Listen, you can love Red Dead Redemption 2, but you gotta say though, that game, it has some pretty boring moments. It has a really, really slow, boring start. The boring moments I have is, well, getting from mission to mission where it takes like 5 to 10 minutes of horse riding. Because they're like they're not like across the map, but horse riding just takes a while anyway. I don't know about you, man, but those parts that annoys me. I'm not one to like sit on whatever just happened in the video game. I'm just like, okay, this happened in the video game. Damn, that sucks in the cutscene. All right, I'm out of the cutscene. No more emotional vibes. I'm here for the gameplay. The gameplay, horse riding. All right, I'll horse ride for like 5 minutes while I'm just kind of like seeing grass. But okay. I still enjoyed Red Dead Redemption 2, but you know, just because it's arguably a good game doesn't mean Palworld isn't. Just because Palworld is arguably an uglier game doesn't mean it's inferior to Red Dead Redemption 2. Like Red Dead Redemption 2 is good because everything about it is good, whereas Palworld, the gameplay is amazing. The gameplay is fun. The gameplay is very fun. Let's go with that. The gameplay is very fun. Whereas Red Dead Redemption 2, the gameplay is not always fun. That's the difference. The market demands dull games and toxic practices for someone to be successful. What? What are you talking about? What is Blood yapping about? You want to give some examples? Palworld proved to me that the world is a nasty place and I lost all my will to live. If Palworld being a successful game makes you want to game in yourself, I don't think there was much that you were holding on to begin with, which is very sad. You should have more than a single piece of media being successful, being your reason to live. At least make it like 4 different pieces of media. And even then, though, just like if the piece of media that you enjoy starts becoming slop, just move on. It's really not that difficult, man. I literally want to game in myself because I feel like I live in a cage of monkeys. I stopped feeling like a gamer. I haven't touched a video game since PAL was released. I'm shaking every night and having game-ending thoughts and thinking if there's even a point to creativity. People love safe designs to the point that I feel disconnected. I mean, remakes or remasters do well, because, you know, it's like remaking and remastering a game that everyone knows is good. Unless it's done shittly, like in Halo Campaign Evolved's case. But alright, man, go off, I guess. Or like the average, or actually, I don't know. The issue with like a lot of Disney movies is that even though they are just insert Disney movie here that was animation but now live action, a lot of people still go see that. Like, I can get why that would be annoying, but there's still plenty of good original works. One day they hate that games. One day they hate that games do one day they hate games do microtransactions to have money to pay the workers, which isn't a lot as well. I mean, it depends on the microtransactions. I mean, it's kind of annoying in general, especially like in the Halo Infinite case where you had to spend $8 for an armor set. Or you played the game for like 10 hours to get in a single armor set. And the second they give hundreds of millions to do some quick Unreal Engine 5 game just because it hurts Nintendo, like the main goal of supporting the game is hurting another company for not making an equal game. Palworld's a different game than Pokemon. The difference is that you got guns, and you can either be nice to your pals, or you can make them do slave labor, but go off, I guess. We're sadistic. We're easily exploitable. We have patterns. Companies have tactics to target out attention spans. Better we live in some kind of circus, and I don't know if I'll lose my sanity or do something to myself first. Okay. All right, psychology major. Chill out.
Of taking their own lives over the situation. In fact, we even saw the clown show evolve to the point where PETA was making posts angry about Palworld, demanding vegan routes and even providing vegan guides to their followers. But of course, the biggest...
That's kind of corny. A vegan guide for Palworld. You know, that actually would make good for a YouTube video. Can I beat Palworld by only being vegan?
Bombshell to happen was the lawsuit that came out right after the release of Palworld, where Nintendo and Pokemon were suing Palworld for patent infringement. Now, all the shills, they were defending the billion-dollar company.
Leave the billion-dollar company alone.
What's even more embarrassing is what's going on now. You can see that Nintendo has pretty much lost the entire lawsuit in a almost unbelievable degree, because this was a David versus Goliath.
Aw, 30,000 chump change, womp womp.
Situation. Nobody thought Palworld would survive this, but now it looks like Nintendo has basically a 0% chance of winning this lawsuit. In fact, the only thing they could even get if they managed to win is $30,000. See, when
Isn't that amazing? They waste so many lawyers' time. They make so many lawyers rich, and they waste both companies' times, several employees' times, a judge's time, just to get $30,000.
World released,
if they were to win. That's so sad.
Nintendo and Pokemon had no expectation that it would do so well, and when Palworld reached enormous levels of sales in the tens of millions of units, they rushed and filed divisional patents to try to catch Palworld and hopefully shut it down. However, by the time the lawsuit actually advanced, most of those things they were trying to patent were removed or altered in a way that would allow Palworld to keep moving forward, which was a very scummy move by Nintendo, a desperate one at that. And now they face...
Yeah, it's also really stupid how Nintendo, for all these years... there's like... I believe there's several, like, really... What was it? I think there... What am I thinking of? I think there was an Ocarina of Time. Someone was trying to do, like, a 2D remake. A fan was trying to do a 2D remake of Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, and Nintendo took down that fan project. Even though I don't think that thing was making any money? Nintendo's just assholes when it comes to their IP in general. Oh no, guys, a fan made a video game that's kind of like our game, but it's not our game. It has zero advertising other than people online advertising it for free.
Not only basically no chance of winning, and even if they do, they get $30,000 and get to have things. And
the only reason they were mad with Palworld is because, well, Palworld was, for the first time in forever, another company that was making something similar to them, and now they had the same grounds, or similar-ish grounds to Nintendo. Definitely not the same grounds, because Nintendo, multi-billion-dollar company. Palworld, multi-million-dollar company. Like, Nintendo probably has, like, if Palworld has, like, $10 million to play with, Nintendo has, like, 10 billion.
And writes the things that don't...
Imagine having 10 billion and still losing.
Even really exist anymore. But they also spent $40 million so far on legal costs.
Damn.
This has been an elaborate humiliation ritual for Nintendo.
I wonder how much Palworld has had to pay, though, thanks to these wankers.
And I have to say, it's been great to watch. Nintendo's been bullying people, especially legally, for a very long time, and this absolutely blew up in their face and just served as...
Actually, if I remember correctly, for the longest time, if you want to make YouTube videos about Nintendo games, you had to pay Nintendo money just to play your games for videos and then upload them. I didn't really look into that, though, and that's like extremely old, outdated knowledge that I don't think anyone has anymore.
It's more PR.
And the only people that probably were the people that actually had to pay that, if they even did. I don't know if that was just a rumor or not.
For Palworld. Now, of course, what's going on with the Pokemon Company these days? Well, here's some news today. The Pokemon Company is facing a class action lawsuit after a former executive...
He's bringing... Bro, he's bringing up this. I kind of forgot about this.
...was arrested for secretly filming people inside company bathrooms.
Wait a minute. I didn't forget about this. This just came out today. I feel like... How... Have I not heard of this? I feel I most definitely have heard this before. I know I've heard this before. But this just got posted today by Dex Erto.
89 videos were allegedly filmed in office toilets. Well then, that's all I can say, but...
I just really... I don't get that. Just why? Just why, man?
Of course, over the stretch of time since Palworld released, of course, they were not going to maintain those insane release numbers, and journalists were crapping all over Palworld, saying it was a dead game, showing that they've lost so many players, but of course, we got Palworld 1.
That's so weird. Why were the... You know, it's so strange. Journalists hate Japan in current year, but I guess back then, they liked Japan back then. Or maybe they liked the company of Nintendo? No, I really don't know. It's so strange to me. Journalists are very interesting creatures, that's for certain.
1.0 just a few weeks ago, and of course the journalists weren't done. They're still coping, giving it a 3 out of 5, and of course gamers are mocking the saying, did you just blow in from Stupid Town? Game journalists, when they have to play a game, too many things, make more cinematics. Video game is held back by gameplay, reduce the score. And then you see the actual numbers. It turns out players actually loved it.
That was like one thing I really liked about Palworld. There was not like a bunch of cutscenes interrupting my gameplay. I could just continue playing the game. I could just seamlessly enjoy everything it had to offer. Even though what it had to offer was just big opened areas with nothing, but no, well, you also had like the mini bosses. You had the mini bosses and then the actual bosses in the towers. Those were fun.
Even though games journalists are pretending like it's garbage, it peaked at nearly 1 million players, which is an insane accomplishment for a game that was released 2.5 years ago. The hype has not died, and you know what? Everybody's joining in, including DSP.
Now,
that's just as based as like Destiny 2 getting like 300, almost 500,000 players, even though that was like a 10 plus. Actually, that's like a 12-year-old series.
I'm going to ask you guys an honest question.
Destiny 2 was like a decade-old game as well. Destiny 2.
Do you guys like Palworld, and do you want me to keep playing it tonight? Okay? I'm asking you this question honestly for a reason. I'm here to entertain. I'm here to do things that make you have a good time and make you want to reciprocate with support.
Yeah, and then he begs for like $10 every 5 minutes.
I've played this game for an hour and I've made $40. Okay?
I played this game for an hour. I made $40. The timing's just perfect.
And it's not like, it's not increasing. In the last hour, I'm not even kidding, in the last hour, since we started, Jeremy Gunn had done the $10 super chat, and then within an hour, I made $7. Okay? If people don't care for the game, then let's just do something else. If that's the case, I wasn't ever committing to playing this game long term. I want you to understand that. Like, this was not something that we committed to. You know what I'm saying? If you guys find the game boring, dull, not interesting, and you don't care about me doing an open world exploration game like this, then we don't have to play it again. We could just chill for the next hour.
I'm sorry, I saw a related DSP grift crash out, and I just had to include it in this video. And unlike him, you don't have to pay $40 to show your appreciation for what I'm doing right now. If you like the video, consider liking and subscribing. But of course, people are continuing to cope about this 1.0 release. This individual saying, Palworld just hit full release and can't recapture the momentum it had at launch. Its momentum came from the early access label and the controversy over creature designs that were copy-paste Pokemon. At one point, do you admit you aided scammers?
Bro, what? What are you talking about? They made a real game. I can play the game right now. I can go back to like my base that I spent like 10 hours building. Or my pals were just like endlessly making resources. But it's a scam? Okay, man.
Yes,
sure.
This is the modern audience, ladies and gentlemen. They see a game that people are enjoying and they must think it's some kind of a scam. But you can see this individual who's totally not seething get hit with a community note that says, Steam data shows Palworld exceeded 500,000 concurrent players shortly after its July 10th 1.0 release. In fact, as we
Base
saw, that
community
number
nuts.
actually would double to about 1 million. And this individual would continue crashing out in the replies, saying, "Slop World shills. 500,000 is not more than 2 million. I can't stop laughing."
Ho's mad. That's just all revolves down to Ho's mad. Do we have the Steam charts numbers for a Nintendo game that hit 500,000 2.5 years after it was released? Oh wait, that's right. We will never have it because Nintendo will never release a PC product. So, what is your argument here? You don't really have one.
This is not a very well-adjusted individual. This person is miserable. But you know who's not miserable and having a very good time on social media? Bucky, the head of publishing and communications at Pocket Pair, who's been celebrating the success of the 1.0 launch, saying what is happening with a screenshot of the player numbers, over 900,000. But people were still coping, in the quotes, saying this would be impressive if it had doubled its early access launch peak, but it is currently below 50% of its launch peak. CCU, and with only 16,000 new user reviews, even added since 1.0 launched last week, it means barely anyone playing Palworld right now are even new players and are just below 50% of the early access players.
Oh no, how horrible. The people that bought the game forever ago are enjoying it even more now. Oh, the horror. It's totally not like as if those people are actually going to advertise the game that they enjoy to their friends. The game, and then those friends might play the game. Those friends might buy the game just to play with their friends. Oh, no, it's so bad that the game had a resurgence in players. What are these arguments? How sad is your life that you have to like make an argument that a resurgence in players coming back is still not a good thing for a game that came out 2.5 years ago? Like the only scenario that would be the only scenario where it would be a good thing. Actually, no, it wouldn't be a good thing. What I'm trying to say, the only scenario where it'd be a bad thing, where if you had a bigger number in comparison to 2.5 years ago, is the amount of baby mamas you had. Or the amount of student debt you had. And imagine only having like 8 baby mamas 2.5 years ago, and now you have like 14. Oh no, wait, that's above 50%. So you'd have like 11, maybe 12 baby mamas over like the last 2.5 years.
Back in. Yeah, guys, that would be only impressive, the 1.0 release, if they had over 4 million players concurrently. Apparently that is the standard. That is how you'll impress this individual on social media. No, what's impressive is a game that released 2.5 years ago.
Almost in every scenario, number going up is good. Again, the only time that matter, actually, technically, going to the debt is not number going up. Technically, that's like negative.
Peaking out at almost 1 million concurrent players all that time later. That is super impressive. The whole thing is impressive. The whole story of Palworld.
It's just sad. This is really what Bezek Tech over here has to do with their life. And just make tweets about a game that they probably have never played and they have no interest in playing, and shitting on the fact that, you know, it doesn't have as many players as it used to. Oh no, Gashback Horror. The 1.0 release, not as many players as like the early access release. Ooh.
Is very impressive. You can see people like Legendary Drops quoting that previous user saying, "Just take the L and move on." Palworld hit 25 million copies sold almost a year ago.
Sheesh.
You'll be hearing it cleared 30 plus million sooner or later. It's tracking similar unit sales to Pokemon releases. Nearly 1 million concurrent is absurd, and trying to frame it as anything else is beyond stupid. But of course, Bucky would
I
continue.
didn't even know there was a tracking site to see how many copies it sold.
Celebrating, saying it's been 3 weeks since 1.0 dropped, and we're still hitting 500,000 concurrent mid-week.
Yeah, bro forgot that like 2024 was 2023 in the middle of it / 2024, early 2024 was like the last era of like of COVID, where people were able to like hang out inside and play video games a whole bunch. Oh no, the people that were able to play video games a whole bunch can't do it now, especially with this crumbling garbage economy where you have to work like 2 jobs just to stay afloat. Wow, it's incredibly surprising that nobody's playing this game that they nobody's playing this game as much as they used to as well Is it being 2.5 years old?
Bonkers.
Oh,
There's people out there absolutely dying to post Palworld lost X% of their players, dead game, and at this rate, they'll have to wait at least another week or two. Good on Bucky for making a sneak diss at all these haters on social media here. But we see other things coming out from the development team and Bucky as well. You can see this Dexerto post. A Palworld developer responded to enhanced female Pal mods. And this is the reaction right here, where he just quotes saying, fun. Palworld is about having fun. If this was a lot of other studios, they would have shut this down. They would have done some DMCAs. They would have shut down these sorts of mods. But you know what? At Palworld, they're just trying to have some fun. And also, another thing we forget about Palworld, how affordable it is, right? A $30 game also produced on a budget of less than $10 million kind of flies in the face of ex-God of War creators like David Jaffe here, who recently was saying that games basically have to be $300 million to succeed in this current market. But speaking of that price, here is an official post from Palworld, a massive W, saying, after much thought, we have decided to not raise the price of Palworld following the 1.0 release and will keep it at $30. We are incredibly proud of how far Palworld has come. Thanks to the amazing support of our players, it has become a success beyond our wildest dreams. A small way of saying thank you. We'll be keeping the price at $30. Very based. And also, how does Palworld interact with potential competitors and similar titles? Well, Temtem Pioneers is something that is looking very similar.
I have not heard of this game before.
People are like, oh, are they going to go the Nintendo route and try to shut this down? No, they actually did the exact opposite. Pocket Pair saying they don't see Temtem as a rival, even though the series is getting a new survival game called Temtem Pioneers. Pocket Pair's head of publishing and communications, Bucky, said Temtem are not our rivals. We respect all developers and their games. We're all just making games for fun.
Yep, and that's exactly what video games should be made for, just for fun. Well, what we learned, I guess Nintendo diehards are still very sad and very pathetic. Just why? Listen, it's okay that you have another game that's like your game. It's okay. People argue if it's better. How about you come up with more points why it's better instead of just saying, well, the numbers don't say so. But go off, I guess. On that note, link is in the description. Like, comment, subscribe to Rev here. If you enjoyed what I had to say and what my React Andy slop, you should subscribe for more. Comment what y'all thought and leave a like, and I'll see you Vamp Cows next time. I feast upon my next victim.